Let's talk about 5 vital signs, which are very subtle, of body releasing trauma and deeper stress. Most people overlook these signs and mistake them for panic and anxiety. Before we start, I want to emphasize one important thing. Body and nervous system are programmed through evolution and our biology to shed stress and go into recalibration and reset mode daily. Not just daily, multiple times throughout the day. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what body and nervous system are supposed to do. But a lot of us mistake these signs and stop the natural regulation of the body. So the purpose of the video is to show you that healing is happening daily. A few times a day, nervous system and body want to shed stress, and how to recognize those vital, subtle signs of healing, recalibration, and regulation of nervous system so you can support your own stress relief. For those who don't know me, I'm a trauma-informed hypnotherapist with lived experience of complex PTSD and trauma. This happened from childhood. My trauma happened through childhood, chronic stress. And so as a person who worked with my own trauma and now supporting my clients to release deeper stresses, I understand how deeply body can store stress. If the stress has nowhere to go, it will go into multiple symptoms. And more importantly, I also understand, and I teach my clients, how subtly and powerfully body can begin to process deeper stresses and let it go. But we need to support this process of daily regulation and recalibration. Most of my clients are high-achieving professionals, they're career-focused parents, and they excel on the outside world. But internally, they battle stress, self-doubt, low self-esteem, and they seek my help for stress relief to improve work performance and ultimately experience sustainable career and relationship growth, not by doing more, but by healing what's holding them back. So, as I mentioned, trauma release is not loud or dramatic. In fact, it's often the quietest shifts that indicate the deepest healing. And let's talk about the 5 vital, subtle, but profound signs. Your body and nervous system are releasing stored trauma. And why it is important to recognize them, because it will eventually lead you to recalibrating, to restoring calm, confidence, and clarity. And basically, you are allowing your body and nervous system to do its work, which it already knows how. Get out of their way, sort of way. So the 5 signs. 1 is unclenching of the gut. The gut is often the first place impacted by chronic stress. It's the first system that stress alarm shuts down in the body, because digestion it requires a lot of energy, and it's not safe to digest and focus the resources of the body there when you are in survival mode. During stress response, digestion is deprioritized because it's energy intensive and it doesn't contribute to immediate survival. As the result, abdominal muscles often tense without us realizing it. And when the gut clenches, there is no blood flow. All these physiological things have no place to take. And basically, the gut remains in not working condition. This happened to me. I started experiencing sharp stomach pains that were not explained. I went to numerous doctors. They didn't find anything wrong with me, but the pain was real. Later in my mid-20s, the gut issues developed into full-blown eating disorder that stuck around into my early 30s. Now I understand it was trauma, just simple, plain and simple, but I didn't know it then. So when clients begin to feel release in the gut area, it often comes as an unsafe feeling if they're not prepared for it. A softening or a sense of breathing easier in the belly. It's a powerful sign, which often when you're on your own and your gut unclenches, you can mistake it for a signal of danger. So when gut unclenches in their healing situation, or now after watching this video, you understand these are normal signs of body regulation, it means the nervous system is shifting out of survival mode and back into regulation. And it sends this gut unclenching sign a few times during a day. We just learn to ignore it or mistake it for a sign of danger. So okay, now next one. The second sign, changes in breathing patterns. Trauma messes up the breath, and most people unconsciously adopt shallow, chest-based breathing as a response to stress. This is a method of a nervous system and our biology to conserve energy. And when trauma release happens, even the subtlest shift in breathing, a deeper breath, a more labored breath, a spontaneous sigh, can be signaling that the body is processing stored survival responses. Once I worked with a client with social anxiety, and his trauma release showed up as he was suddenly closed his eyes during our conversation, and his breathing became deep and labored, as if he tried to take a breath. So I gently guided him through the process. It's absolutely normal and it's welcome. This is a kind of a somatic response, micro response to releasing trauma. His nervous system was able to reset safely. So as a trained hypnotherapist, I am looking out for those signs, sigh, breathing change. And as my clients start going through those processes of their natural body and nervous system recalibration, I'm here to support them. There is no need to freak out. There is no freak out at all because it's a safe condition, and I'm very trained and very experienced in leading clients through any changes with the breath and however system is going to respond to release of deeper stresses. So this client, after our session, told his partner that something deeper shifted inside him. He couldn't really put a finger on it, but he knew something was different. And this is regulation of the nervous system doing its own magic. We don't need to understand it. We just need to recognize it and accept it. It has an ability to accelerate the healing. To the more powerful you permit it to be, the more powerful it will become. And this is a power of hypnotherapy for stress relief when we are working correctly and compassionately and responding and reading the signs of the nervous system during the session. Sign number 3. Heightened sensations in hands or feet. This is another very subtle trauma release sign that a lot of clients, a lot of people miss. When we start experiencing increased sensitivity or sensation in our extremities, palms, soles of our feet, fingers, or toes, I noticed it personally after intensive trauma integration work. My palms became warm, buzzing, alive, and I began to feel a deep sense of connection. So I had this desire to touch green plants, to put my hands near the plants. Don't ask me why, it just felt grounding, soothing, and the right thing to do. And I remember especially a moment when I was driving my car, and that was the first moment when I connected with the palms, and I noticed there were live sensations in my palms as my hands were resting on the steering wheel. I became obsessed with that sensation. The only way I can describe it is that flow of connection. You feel alive, you feel normal, and this is the body and the brain reintegrating the energy that was broken out through the holding of chronic stress energy and trauma energy, right? So this reawakening of sensory perception is simply your nervous system re-entering a safe, grounded. It's not natural state. It's your body saying, I can be here now. I don't need to be stuck in the past. And you can feel again. Sign number 4, natural extension of the spine. Trauma-informed therapists and practitioners, often as they work with clients, and it's not just my experience, I've read about it, I've watched numerous masterclasses about this specific sign of trauma release. So these practitioners observe subtle postural shifts during sessions when the trauma is released. So it's almost like clients appear to be pulled up by an invisible string, and their spine gently starts realigning without conscious effort. This is more than a posture fixing. It's reclaiming that inner stability and strength. In my own healing journey, I experienced spontaneous shifts in spinal alignment. They also were accompanied by soothing, soft sense of energy balance, feeling more grounded and alive, connected. Clients frequently report feeling lighter, taller as their trauma and deeper stresses start processing, and they feel more at ease with their bodies. This is a subtle but powerful cue that the nervous system is reorganizing itself from the inside out. Sign number 5. This is a release of muscular tension. Look, muscles often get very tense as a first defense to protect the body from harm. And they hold trauma, energy of trauma. Imagine if there is a big stress or overwhelming situation, all the energy in the body goes up, and then it has nowhere to release. When the energy goes up for survival, the natural biological response is to run, to fight, to escape, to do something with this energy. With a lot of us who carry trauma from childhood, for example, or early youth, we were not able to escape from a situation. So what happens with the energy that went all the way up inside the body? It has nowhere to go. It has to keep stuck. And because there is no regulation or co-regulation happening, if a child is very stressed, they need a caregiver to care for the stress response. A child cannot regulate back by themselves. They need an adult to care for it. So as a child who is experiencing this traumatic or very stressful situation, circumstance, interaction with an adult, and they have no way to escape, they store all that risen energy within their bodies. And where does it go? It often sits inside the muscles. Also, this energy can express itself through different symptoms. Later in life, overthinking, as I mentioned, gut problems, mental health issues, physical issues. So during the sessions, I often see micro movements when the trauma or that trauma energy that was stuck within the muscles starts releasing itself and working itself out. This can be subtle twitches, spontaneous stretches. These are all signs of body self-regulating. Contrary to common belief about hypnotherapy, that hypnotherapy is a very relaxed situation, you just close your eyes, you don't have to do anything, and a hypnotherapist will be putting some suggestions into your mind or giving you meditations. Doesn't work like this. I don't work like this with clients. I respond to the subtle cues from the body, the micro movements, the expressions on the face, the micro things that are happening with the breath, all these things, all the body or nervous system and the whole of the unconscious mind is communicating the cues of trauma release. And I'll give you an example of a client. He struggled with screen addiction. And during the session, as we were digging into the problem, his trauma energy started processing. He started experiencing shoulder and neck shaking during the session. And rather than suppressing this, we safely allowed it to unfold and guided him by giving him some therapeutic cues. Despite of what social media often depicts, trauma release doesn't have to involve shaking, crying, or dramatic catharsis. For many, it's a single tear that seems to come out from the depths of, depths of their inner selves, and or full-bodied breath, or a quiet realization that something feels different. And I use hypnotherapy, and it's not about forcing release. It's about creating safety for this release and processing of trauma energy to happen organically. So why this matters for career-focused parents and high achievers? Chronic stress doesn't just impact personal life, it directly interferes with your potential career growth, with how you show up in relationships with your family, your kids, your partner. If your nervous system is locked in survival mode, and if it misinterprets, misunderstands, and your brain misunderstands the signals of safety, the signals of nervous system trying to recalibrate itself daily, we're missing out on those healing moments. We're missing out on the opportunity to compound them into full-blown healing. So when your body is organically coming out of this survival mode into more relaxed, grounding, sustainable way of living, that already our nervous system has inherent ability to provide for us. That's why we need to start listening to the signals of nervous system recalibration. Going through survival mode, going out of survival mode will help you with your focus, creativity, confidence, and communication. And if you were wanting that promotion or wanted to have that difficult conversation, a lot of this becomes harder to navigate when you are stuck in survival mode. So my approach to hypnotherapy is more about addressing the deeper internal stress triggers that feed the burnout, self-sabotage, emotional reactivity, and allow you to unlock that well-grounded, empowered version of yourself that's already there. So if you are a high-achieving professional or driven parent feeling the weight of chronic stress and you want to explore trauma-informed hypnotherapy to uplift your career, your relationship, and your health, you can connect with me by sending me a message to my email. Check out my website, and let's see if we can be a good fit to help you with the life goals.